Hello everybody, welcome to my channel Creations by Shubha. So today we are going to continue with the series The Basic Elements of Dot Mandala, and we are going to be painting one of these. I hope you can see, and I'm waiting for the camera. There you go. Okay, so we're going to be painting one of these on a coffee mug. Okay, this is just a orchid holder or orchid planter, I would say. So I got these a bunch of these painted. So this is another gradient, ombre gradient that I made. So the whole idea of painting this pattern is to understand the color gradient, how each of the colors when mixed with each other can produce different gradient, the ombre gradient. And there is this another one. There you go. So as you can see, this one has a yellow in the center. It grows into green and then eventually gets into the turquoise teal. Okay. Similarly, this one, as we just saw, this one starts with a pink in the center, gradually grows into purple, and then blue, eventually gets into the blue. Okay. And this one starts with an orange, gradually grows into violet, brown, violet, purple, and then red, burgundy red. This is one of my favorites. This is absolutely favorite. Okay, so we're going to take one of these coffee mugs, and yeah, this will be just like this. So on these mugs, it just looks wonderful. I'm going to be using the paints gloss enamels, the gloss enamels Deco Art Americana. So a quick concept before we get started with this ombre gradient is that the center color, if you look at it, the center color is generally a brighter, much lighter color, and then it grows into darker shades. I mean, here, yes, it has grown into lighter, but if it grows into darker shades, it's much more pleasing to eye. And then also when you're mixing these colors in proportions gradually with every line of dots that you're doing, you just do not end into a muddy consistency. If you're going from light to dark, it just works out well. But if you're going from dark to light, then the darker needs to be lightened with white, and then white becomes an added color, and it just gets a little bit of it gets a little bit tricky to get the consistency and the color, the color into the right gradient, and then fade it out into the lighter texture. So today I am trying to get to these, so I'm going to start with yellow. So my plan is to start with something lighter and then gradually grows out and increases into the darker hues. So I'm starting with yellow and then slowly will merge into orange. I might as well use red in between to bring out the orange a little more, and then eventually green, or I might just not use the red at all, because more I use red and eventually into green, it's going to get a little muddy. So you see, when two colors which are very darker in the hues, they are mixed, they get into muddy color, so try to avoid that and let the darker hue color at the end of your artwork, of your art piece. So Let's start with yellow and orange and then red, and then we'll see how it goes. If not this red, I'll just keep the green separate. If not this red, I'm going to use the Tucson red. That is also going to work out well. Okay, this is the Tucson red. Yeah. And let's get started. So another thing that I want to highlight here is that if you see these designs, none of these are made with the stencil. They have been done completely without any guidelines, and I am so happy that I was able to do this. And I'm going to share the trick that I used to get the dots perfectly circular, and there is no way you can go wrong if you just follow this trick that I'm going to share in the video today. Okay, you just have to be consistent with every single dot, and you just have to pick the right tool in order to get the dots, the size of the dots just right. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to be using one of these cylindrical tools to get the center dot perfectly circle. So I'm assuming that I'm going to be holding this, me or somebody else will be holding this with their right hand, so then the design will be on this side of the mug. Okay, and I'll start with yellow, pouring a little bit of yellow, or I might not just pour it on the palette, but I might just take it from here, because yellow is going to be very least used for this particular design. So I'm just eyeballing this length of the mug and then going just what I think would be the center of the length. I'm holding this tool just just right. I'm holding the tool just 90°. I think I'll need a little more paint. Yeah. Okay. Hold it just upright, just the 90°, so that you get your first dot completely circular. Then I'm using this Finest Indie Girl fine dotting tool, and I'm going to use the fine dotting end. I'm just going to be making the circle just a little perfect. So I'll do one dot above, one dot below the circle, one dot on the right, one dot on the left side of the circle. Make the dots very, very tiny. Okay, and pick the color from the circle itself, or from the center dot itself. Okay, and then go center of these. This is the trick. Okay, the trick to get the perfect circle is that I think I can fit 2 more dots here. Yeah, the trick is to not go in sequence of the dots, but the trick is to go to the alternate position when you're dotting for a circle without the guidelines. This is how it looks. Okay, perfectly circular, perfectly centered. Now let's change it up to the top. Okay, so now I'm gonna go more on the yellow. So every time you dot, now the next row of dots, I'm gonna go one on the alternate position. I'm not going to go in sequence. So see, what I'm saying is, if I have dotted just this one right now, I won't be dotting on this position, but I'll go on the next position, the following position, and then come back and dot the middle. Okay, so that's the trick to get this, the circle perfect. So you'll have to move the mug around to position it right. And you have to hold the dotting tool really, really steady. Okay, so now I'm going to be mixing up a little bit of orange after I have dotted 2 rows of yellow. So now we're going to do the 4th line of dots, and I'm going to be dropping just a teeny bit of orange into the mixture. So again, I'm going to follow the same procedure. So dot the alternate dot and then come back to the one before. Now I'm going to go more on the orange while I'm mixing the paint this time. And now go more on the orange, mix more orange into the mixture, and go back and dot the next round. I'm still using the same tool. I've not changed my tool, but every time I go on to the next round of dots, I'm loading a little bit of more paint into the tool. So now that I have done quite a bit of orange in this, now I'm ready to mix a little bit of red. So this is the gloss enamel red, and I'm getting a little bit of red into the mixture. Okay, so I'm still using the same tool, just getting a little bit of red in the mixture. So every time I'm going on for the next round of dots, I'm mixing more red, and that's how I'm getting my ombre right. So now I need more red and more orange as well, because I have very little paint remaining in my color palette. I'm going to use a different tool this time because the dots are getting larger. So I will use this one. So I wanted to show you, I don't know, the other camera probably is not capturing the colors well. So this is how it's looking right now. So if you can see, the yellow is turning into orange and it's slowly turning into red. And I'm now going to be going more on the red so that it just pops up, you know, the red. So the lighter to dark needs to show more. So I wanted to show you how the actual colors look like. This is how they look like. Okay. So what do you think? Should I add green to get it completely out of its comfort zone, or should I just add a little bit of purple? Yeah, maybe purple, right? Yeah. Okay. So, but adding purple is going to be getting into a little muddy consistency, but let's see how it is. What about I add purple first and then add red into it. This red into it. So the idea is to take your previous color, previous hue, and then add a bit of your new hue. So that's the idea. Yes, it's going to be looking a little bit of more muddy. And if you look at the spacing, so also keep that in mind, that if you want to highlight the purple at the outer edge, so you do not have much of the space here. So you just have to be mindful of how many more rounds that you're going to go for. I can go a little bit of red on this. Yeah. Okay, I think this should work well. So the trick to get all your dots perfectly symmetrical is to take a note of all the 4 dots. So now that I am dotting here, my new dot, I'm looking at the line this and the line this and also the top dot. So it has to line up just perfectly under the top dot and then also line up with these and these lines, and also, you know, they have to be equally spaced from your previous dot. And now I think you will understand why I am dotting one alternate and then I'm leaving one dot and then coming back to that dot, because that just gives me to get a better reference of where my dot should line up there. Okay, it's not that bad. I think it's going to work out really well. I think I can go 2 more to get the purple, or get the purple perfectly in its hue. So if you notice, I'm just tapping my tool on the mug a little bit to get all the paint from its body onto the mug. That way I just make sure that I have it all on the mug. Okay. Now I'm going to add more purple onto my mixture. Yeah, I love it. I love how it's actually looking now. You want to see how it looks? There. You see how the purple is starting to show on the outer dot? Yeah. Okay, now this one, you know what? I'm going to change up my tool and take a thicker one, just a bit thicker than the one I was using. So while I'm dotting, I'm constantly keeping an eye on the symmetry, and mandala art is all about symmetry. Everything that you do has to be symmetrical. Mandala art, it's about mandala art. Dot art is similar, but dot, you can dot on anything. You don't have to be symmetrical, but especially when you're talking about mandala, you have to be very, very symmetrical. Even if you make a mistake and go symmetrical about it. That's the trick. So this is how it looks with the second line of purple. Okay, and now I'm going to go all purple. So I'm not going to take any of the previous mixture, but I will, because it looks like that's going to be the last that I can dot. That's it. Okay, so this is how it looks. So I'm happy to share that this is what it looks like. You see how the purple is showing, and you see the center yellow turns into orange, turns into red, into burgundy, and then purple. You know, if you ask me, I think the burgundy and the purple transition was a little challenging to even think of how it'll turn out to be. Initially, I thought, you know, it's going to look a little bit of muddy, you know, with the kind of paint mixture concept that I learned. But it just turned out fine, you know, so I'm happy about it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and let me know in the comment section if you would like to learn something special, and I would be happy to bring it up for you. And I keep sharing some tips and tricks from time to time, so feel free to check my other videos, and please subscribe and support this new channel. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.